5 ways to recover, recharge, and restore your passion for teaching. My name is Jamie, and I'm happy to be here with you today. Alongside of me is Robin.
Hi, everybody.
Robin will be along to help with any tech questions you may have as they come up. And also just to kind of talk to this in the very beginning, if you have questions throughout the webinar today, feel free to pose those questions over in your toolbar where it says questions. And if we don't answer them in the webinar today, we'll be sure to answer them in the follow-up email you receive shortly after. So let's get started. So let's start off with a poll. I am curious to see who is all here today. So what grades do you teach? Are you an elementary teacher, a middle school teacher, or a high school teacher? Robin's going to be along today to launch those polls for us. So go ahead and make your selection now. It's always nice to get a gauge for who our audience is while we're doing these webinars, so we can kind of gear our discussions around that. So go ahead and select that there. And again, if you're having trouble, we can try to help you. So just ask a question if you don't see that poll right now. And as we're waiting to really get started today, Robin's gonna be along, like I said, to help with any poll questions we have and anything that you have throughout this discussion today that you maybe you want further information on. There is a handout available in the handouts bar. You'll see, I believe on my screen, it comes up to the right and it'll say handouts. If you're having trouble accessing that, again, reach out to us and we will make sure you get that.
So Jamie, it looks like we have about 83% elementary and about 20% middle and 10% high school coming in.
Great, awesome. Well, thanks to all of you for being here today. I hope today that we're able to, and there are those poll results. I see them now. I hope today as we jump in and we go through this next half hour, it's going to be fast paced, but I hope there's something that you can take away to make you feel good about, first of all, the year you just completed, but also about how you can go forward in a way that is gratifying to you and brings you back to who you remember, right? And that's what summer is all about, like getting back to our normal natural self after the stress of an average school year, but this year being especially difficult with everything we were thrust into with COVID. So let's get started here. We're going to walk through our sponsor today. So our sponsor is Blue Apple, and I want to talk quickly to what Blue Apple is. So these are PBL units for teachers who want to stand out. They engage students, they teach the content, and they make the world a better place. So with every purchase, if you would like to purchase these projects, you actually get a 20% discount if you use the code webinar20. So if you have any interest in PBL whatsoever, visit blueappleteacher.org. Each project includes a project plan and supplies that helps kind of facilitate that the learning that goes on in your classroom. There's real world connections, which boost the engagement level and the relevance. And we put you in connection with real world experts and influencers in the fields. Also cross-curricular content. So we integrate the content area into the instruction that you do throughout the project. And it really makes these projects authentic. And we also have collaboration options. So stepping outside of the four walls of your own classroom and extending that to other classes. We connect you with those other classes who are doing the same project that you are doing. And also there is embedded professional development. So it's at point of use, but these are tips and tricks that not only can be used in the project that you're doing, but also beyond that and into just teaching in general. So if you have any interest whatsoever in PBL, definitely check out blueappleteacher.org. So we're going to go through our schedule today. The 5 things that we're going to talk to you today are taking time to reflect, doing a digital detox, nourishing your whole self, all the components that go into that, revamping our routine so that we can have a successful, restful summer, and then celebrating your successes. I love this quote by John Dewey, which is we do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. Reflection is so important. So make sure you're taking time this summer to reflect. The 3 things we're going to talk to today are having conversations with your colleagues, a strategy that we call Map It Out, which will help you look back on your year as a whole, and then also utilizing reflection journals. You know, it's something that we push heavily in our work here at Van Andel, and I'm sure several of you use in your classroom, but we're going to talk about the power of that as a teacher. So let's get started with those conversations with colleagues. If there's anyone who knows the tough job that you do every day, it's your colleagues, right? It's other teachers. So reach out to them, and we do this throughout the year through team meetings and grade level meetings and subject area meetings. But rarely do we take the time at the end of the school year to call up a colleague and discuss how the year went. So something that might help is if you had a yearly goal checklist. Maybe there were some things that you worked on this year or were working towards, and you can discuss those goals. And if it isn't something that you did this year, maybe having a yearly goal checklist as you go into next year is something that can kind of help you kind of angle the direction you want to go. So whether it's integrating tech tools or giving students more reign, involving parents more, creating an online presence, encouraging more play, or cultivating relationships with colleagues, whatever it is, it's good to always set a goal, and then have those conversations after the school year about how those went. It's just, and again, like this year was a tough one and for so many reasons, but having time and taking time, being intentional about planning that time out with a colleague to sit back and discuss the school year is really powerful. This strategy we call Map It Out, and this is actually a strategy that one of my teacher friends uses with her students, but I thought it was just as powerful for teachers. So if you look at the whole span of your school year from August to June, and you kind of you rate it from 0 being like the low end to 10 being like a high point, how would you rate it month by month? So, we always start off in August since the start of the school year. Maybe you had new curriculum introduced, right? And that's a stress point. Maybe the classroom management was challenging because you haven't had time to build those relationships and that rapport in your room yet. But then maybe come winter, your winter assessments come along, you've showed higher than projected growth, so you were starting to feel good again. But mapping it out through the year to get a feel for month by month how that went is really helpful. Not only is it helpful for you as an educator, but it might be helpful for you to discuss this when you're having those conversations with colleagues about the successes and the struggles that you were faced with. Another good strategy, again, is just that reflection journal. There's so much power in just taking some moments and reflecting on how your year went. This strategy that's a good one is called Keep, Start, and Stop. So just looking back on your year and talking about those things that you want to continue to do because they worked really well in your room. So maybe you had math strategy groups. You started those and you really liked them. They really worked well. Maybe it's in middle school and high school, it's subject area team meetings. They seem to work really well. You got a lot of useful information out of those. Those are the things you want to keep. And then looking at it from another standpoint is, what are those things that you've wanted to start and that you hope to start this coming school year? We know as we head into next year that social and emotional learning is going to be something that we really want to pay close attention to with our students, and we want to be really intentional about. So maybe you want to start SEL circles with your students, or maybe it's just individual weekly check-ins with each of your students, and maybe it's project-based learning. But what are those things that you want to start? Actually writing them down and getting a gauge for those now is a good idea as you look for planning purposes as we go about the summer. And then just thinking about what are those things that you want to stop. And with all of these, they don't necessarily have to be those things that that happen in your classroom, right? I know for me, it's those late night work sessions, right? Like I want to stop working at midnight on several nights a week. So taking a look at your goals in this way, and reflection in this way, the keep, start, stop strategy is a good one to do. Now I'm curious, in what ways will you reflect on your school year? Will you have conversations with colleagues? Will you try mapping your year out? Will you utilize a reflection journal? Or is there something else that you think would be a great tool or a great resource for allowing yourself that reflection time? One thing I also want to note is if you have an other and you would like to share it with us, we love hearing what you guys are doing. So there is a question bar on the right there. If you want to post that into the question bar, we're going to compile all of the great insight you give us into a follow-up email. And again, you can also post questions there that we will address in a follow-up email as well. So that poll is up and ready. Go ahead and answer that. And then
so Jamie, it's looking like across the board things, looks like conversations with colleagues, mapping it out, and reflection journals are all up there in like the 50 to 60%. So
awesome, good to hear.
Great option.
Super, thanks, Robin. Now we'll jump into unplugging, right? Like doing a digital detox. For so many of this is so hard because we are so connected, we're so plugged in, right? But there's so much power in stepping away, and whether it's a day or a week. Whatever it is, but it just in being intentional about taking the time to do just that. So we're going to talk about ways to disconnect and reconnect, and then getting outside and playing. So disconnect to reconnect. One of the things that we kind of lose sight of as we're working so hard throughout the school year is we let loose and let go of those hobbies that we have. So rediscover those things that you love and start picking those back up again. I know I have a friend who is a big fisherman, and he loves fishing, but he also teaches high school chemistry, so he doesn't get a chance to do that. But he just had sent us a text, and he was like, I'm gonna jump. He was really excited because he was jumping back into fishing again, and I really admire that, and I think we all should try that. So don't forget about those things you really love doing that live outside of the classroom, because you're more than just a teacher, and we need to remind ourselves of that often. And then read those books that you've buried. I have my stack here, so this is my stack for the summer. I'm going to knock out these 3 books, I hope, but just kind of finding the time again to do that, and being intentional about that. And you'll hear me say that a lot, but we really do have to be intentional about working on us, right? And then reunite with friends and do it safely. As our world starts to open back up again, there's so much we missed out on these past several months. So reuniting with friends and family, make it a point to do so, and try to get away from, and it is a little bit scary in this world we live in, but as things start to open back up and things are looking a little better, reunite with those friends and family members that we've missed for so long. And then get outside and play. So, research says that getting outside is so powerful and so beneficial for us. So it relieves stress, it strengthens your immune system, it sharpens your focus, it promotes a healthy lifestyle, and it calms the mind. This is just a start to all the wonderful things that come with getting outside and being in nature. And then also playing, we all, as adults, we shouldn't stop playing, and so we should be doing those things just like our children or our students are doing. So something else I want to bring to your attention, I don't know if you've heard about this, but you can, if you are a teacher of a 4th grader, or you have a 4th grade child yourself, and there's a couple other people who can get access to this as well, but check this out. You can go to everykidoutdoors.gov, and they actually give you a free national parks pass for the year. So this is just a great way to promote getting into the great outdoors. And one thing I love about this website is they break it up state by state, so you can see in your own state places to visit. So if you're gonna do a staycation, that's a trip that's an hour or 2 away, you can do that. Or if you're looking to take a big trip, you can look in that state and see what's available through that free national parks pass. So check that out. One thing I also want to note, in the handout that's connected to this webinar, everything that you've heard today will be on there and available, and this site is on there as well. Now I want to jump into the 3rd point today, which is nourish your whole self. So Scholastic just recently released an article that I thought was pretty powerful about how we can develop ourselves in different compartments. So they did it for teachers based on professional development, school prep, personal growth, and self-care. So we'll talk to each of those. When it comes to professional development, the most important thing I hope you guys take away is this summer is to give yourself grace and do what works for you. There's so much out there right now, especially living in the virtual world. There's a lot of options out there, and I know as educators, we look to the summer to go to those conferences and to join those professional development sessions. But with the world being where it is, a lot of those are happening virtually. So one just quick little tip is just to stick to one goal. So find one area that you really want to focus on this summer and attend one virtual conference that helps you accomplish that goal, or attend one virtual PD opportunity. And if you're looking for those ideas, and if you reach out to us at Van Andel, we have so many options available to help you with that. So tell your administrator if there's something specifically that you feel like you guys need as a staff, reach out to us. We definitely can help you fulfill that. And then the other thing to say is to put it in play right away. So we know you can't take what you learned and jump into the classroom the next day or the next week because we are in summer vacation. But in saying that, write it down. Talk when you go to that conference, write down those things that you want to take away and utilize right away. And what does that look like? And be very specific about that. I know going to conferences, you take in so much information, but it's really important that we take that information and put it in a place where we can utilize it in the months ahead. So we're going to try something here. This is called the gut level teacher reflection. And so what you're going to need is just a piece of paper and a pencil, and you're just to write a smiley face or a sad face. And so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to say some buzzwords, and before I say these buzzwords, I want to talk a minute to, while you get a piece of paper and a pencil. Jennifer Gonzalez, she's a great thought leader. So if you haven't heard about her, search her out. She has great information for all of us teachers out there. But this is one thing that I love that she did. So she calls these buzzwords. And so when you hear these buzzwords, how do they make you feel? If you smile about it and you're like, oh, I got that, awesome. If it makes you go like, ugh, that feeling of like, oh, you don't feel good about it, that'd be a sad face. So we're going to just go through this list of words and just write down quickly a happy or a sad face next to how you feel when you hear these words. So technology, differentiation, data, research-based strategies, Common Core, higher level thinking, flipped learning, student choice, PLC. Those are just a few of the words that kind of to get you thinking about those areas where you might find you want to develop further. All those areas that just made you cringe a little, that might be something, that might be the area you focus on this summer. And again, just to reiterate, just pick one and go with that. Now, school prep. I have to commend all of you as you guys step into so much uncertainty heading into the fall. But there is something we can do, and I hope you guys feel that you have some control over this part of your summer. So one thing I would suggest is just making a plan to stay connected. And if that is just writing down and write it down on a calendar. So if it's writing down every Thursday from 9 to 11, you're going to make a point to stay connected. And whether that's answering emails, maybe it's just reaching out to a grade level team member or subject area team member and discussing some things that you would like to try out next year. Maybe it's revisiting an area that you think you need some work on, or maybe as a staff you guys are working towards. Maybe it's a goal area, but just taking a couple hours every week and starting there and just making sure that during that time you set aside on that day you set aside the time and you stick to it, and just focusing on those things that you can control right now. So some of those things could be your curriculum, right? Because we know that a lot of that will still be there when we come back in the fall. We may face new curriculum, and maybe that's an opportunity to jump in and get to know that curriculum better before you do start the school year off. So just make a plan to stay connected and set aside the time and stick to it. And then personal growth. So oftentimes, because we have a hard time as educators to step outside and realize who we are outside of being a teacher. So sometimes we confuse professional growth with our personal growth. So we want to make sure that we're definitely differentiating between the two. So when we look at professional growth, those are those topics we just discussed. But personal growth is a little bit different. So it's things like, how organization or our time management skills or our confidence level, things like that all have to do with personal growth areas. So again, with that pencil and paper in hand, let's try this out again. So that gut level reflection from Jennifer Gonzalez. So just be thinking, happy or sad, how do these words make you feel? Organization, time management, self-confidence, growth mindset, stress management, mindfulness, decision making. If any of those words made you like cringe just a little, then just make that be your goal. So stick to one goal, don't overwhelm yourself, and make it happen. So it might be developing an action plan, or maybe it's as simple as just taking the time to be intentional about thinking about that topic. Anything you do is obviously going to help you in the months ahead. And then also self-care. So make you a priority. And this is probably the most, if I had to pick a most important topic, I truly believe that this is it. You know, as educators, you guys are constantly giving yourself, right? You're giving yourself to your students, to your family, everybody in the school community. You're constantly giving, and it is hard as educators to take a look and to step back and take a look at what you actually need. So I'm a big believer in having fun, and so one of these fun things I found, and these are all over the internet, but this is a summer self-care challenge, and it just lists out over the course of 30 or so days something you can do each day that will help you really understand the importance of self-care and actually help you take care of yourself. So it's as easy as making a list of goals for the month, or going relaxing to the sounds of nature. And I always like to think of it as when I say start with intention. And in this aspect, it's just thinking about 10 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes every day where you can do these little things that will help you improve you, right? And it will help reward you, and it's for you and no one else. So give yourself those 10 minutes, and after 10, add 5 more. But get to a place where you feel like you're devoting time to yourself. That's really important because we give so much of ourselves all year long. Now I'm curious, what areas are you hoping to further develop and focus on for the summer? So is it professional development? Is it school prep? Is it personal growth? Or is it self-care? And you can also select more than one, but I'm curious to see what you guys plan to focus on this summer. Go ahead and answer that there. And again, if you guys, if there's anything you see today that you want to know more about, please feel free. I'll have my email at the end of this. You can reach out to me and ask, and I'd be more than happy to help get that information to you. So,
hey, Jamie, the good news is that most people are voting for self-care. So that's awesome. We hope you all do that. And then we have about 45% for PD, 49% for school prep, 43% for personal growth. So a lot of great things there. I just wanted to mention one thing, Jamie, before you start back. We do know that there have been a few issues with the HyperDoc link that you guys are trying to get to. We apologize for that. Something is not working with it, but we'll get it to you, whether it's by the end of the webinar, or we will make sure that we get it to you in the follow-up email. So if you are trying to do that, a few people have made it work with copy and pasting it into a browser, but we will definitely get you all a working link either today or tomorrow. So just wanted to put that out there so that we made sure that everybody got that.
Thanks, Robin. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely make sure you guys get access to that. It's also in the form of a Google Doc that I have, so I can also send that to you guys as well. So we'll make sure one way or another that you get that handout. Thanks, Robin. Okay, so let's move into number 4, which is revamping your summer routine. So we're going to talk about establishing a morning routine, creating a summer bucket list, and then most importantly, getting some much deserved rest. So when we say establishing a morning routine, it's actually maybe not what we normally think about. It's actually by slowing things down. So it's not waking up at 7 o'clock like that clock says. It's giving yourself permission to sleep in a little. Take your time as you get up in the morning. Just laying in bed and thinking about how you want your day to go is very therapeutic, and research shows that. So don't feel guilty about taking the time to slowly wake up in the morning and have a cup of coffee in bed. It's totally okay, right? It's all about giving ourselves permission to do that and being okay with that, because you guys deserve it. Also, create a summer bucket list and start checking all those things off. It could be as simple as 1 or 2 things, or it could be a whole list of things that you want to set out to do this summer. But having these areas of something to look forward to, right, and really being intentional about doing it is really important. So it could be as simple as watching fireworks, or maybe it's taking a trip somewhere. But create that list and start doing those things. And also get some time for rest. So go to bed early, sleep in late, take a nap. Again, give yourself permission to do that. The benefits of sleep, we've all heard these before, but it boosts your immune system. It improves your working memory. It restores you and energizes you. It improves concentration and productivity. It slows down the aging process, stimulates creativity, and it just improves your overall health. So you guys have lacked sleep for so long. Take the time this summer to not feel badly about sleeping in, not feel badly about going to bed early, and not just saying you're going to do it, but actually doing it, right? And that is an area that as teachers we have a hard time doing. We say we're going to do it, but other things come up. There's more things to take care of, and we do that instead. But really making it a priority to get the rest time that you've lacked over the course of the school year because you're getting up so early and going to bed so late. So take the time to get some rest. So how do you hope to revamp your routine this summer? Do you want to establish a morning routine to help slow things down a bit? Do you want to create a summer bucket list and start tackling those things and doing those things, whether with friends or with your family? Are you going to work towards getting some more rest, taking naps? I just read a really great article recently about the power of napping, and it's actually on your document that we will get to you. But I was very surprised at the health benefits of even taking a 15-minute nap. Or is there something else that you hope to do this summer to revamp your summer routine? We'd love to hear you share that out as well. So go ahead and make your choices there. Robin, when you...
Jamie, it looks like, yeah, it looks like create a summer bucket list is the winner at 67%, followed by get some rest at 56%, and 33% establish a morning routine.
Great. Thanks, Robin. I love the idea of creating a summer bucket list because it forces us to have fun, right? And I think that's really important as we go into the summer that we take time for ourselves, for our family to do just that. So thanks, Robin. Now we're going to go to our last point here, which is celebrate your successes. I will say this is probably the most difficult of the 5 for teachers because it's easy for us to always celebrate others, but it's sometimes hard for us to take a look at the growth and development and the accomplishments that we as individuals achieved and to celebrate those things. So this is a quick fun list of some things you can do, but indulge in whatever makes you happy. Is it that triple chocolate ice cream that you've been craving? Eat it, right? Is it a bracelet that you've been eyeing up and you wanted for some time now? If it's within your means, purchase it. The other idea I like is making your own souvenir. I know when I go to concerts, I always buy like a t-shirt or something to remember the occasion. I am an optimist to a fault sometimes, but even through this difficult year, I think it's important that we take a positive spin on it and look at the positive things that came out of it, right? Like I think educators, you guys are more resilient than anybody I know. Like you guys jumped right in. So come up with like some sort of mantra and put it on a t-shirt, put it on your wall, but remind yourself that you did it. You accomplished this crazy school year and you deserve to wear that proudly. Maybe it's as simple as buying yourself flowers. That they always they're lively, they're vibrant, and it just makes us feel good when we receive flowers. So buy yourself flowers. And also giving gratitude. So thanking those people who supported you as you've battled through the school year. They love to hear it, and we love to give it. So that's another way to celebrate your successes. But no matter what, I hope you all do something, small or large, to really celebrate what you accomplished this school year. And I think back, like being a parent of I have 2 4th graders and a daughter going into kindergarten. I think about all of the ways that their teachers facilitated their learning during these crazy times. Like virtual learning was made possible because of you guys. Students' needs were met. The learning continued. Families felt supported. Students' feelings were affirmed. You guys demonstrated resilience with the best of them. And ultimately, hope was restored. And I know as a parent, when I would my kids would log on to their virtual learning every day, it made me feel so good inside. And I know each of you guys were doing that each and every day. And I can't thank you enough. And I value you guys more than I think you know. And I want to say, please make time again to celebrate your successes because you guys deserve it. So we at Van Andel want to celebrate you. So here's how. If you love coffee, hopefully you guys are tuning in a little more right now. I would like you to send a note of gratitude to a colleague who helped you get through these unprecedented times. Thank them. Let them know that you appreciated their part in it. And then email me and let me know whose day you brightened. And then I will email you the first 5 your Starbucks gift card. So my email is right down there in pink, jamie.mcpherson@vaei.org. I can't wait to hear from you guys. But gratitude is so very important, and I think and it definitely makes everyone feel good when getting it. So you'll see my email up here again, but but please reach out and tell me about how you're brightening somebody's day. Now, we just went through the 5 ways. So taking time to reflect, doing a digital detox, nourishing your whole self, revamping your routine, and celebrating your successes. I hope all these ways you heard today, even if it's just one takeaway, but it helps you to recover, recharge, and restore yourself. It's so very important over these next couple of months. If you like what you heard today about supporting teachers, tell your administrator and bring us to your school. We can come to you in person, or we can come to you virtually. We are incredibly flexible in that way. And speaking of flexibility, we have Flex PD options. So these are options that we want to meet your needs. So we want you guys to think about what it is as a school that you need. I promise you, we have something to help you reach that goal. So whether it's project-based learning or feedback and assessment, it might be on ways and tips and tricks to get your students engaged. It could be on classroom management, collaboration and communication. You guys, we have a list of over 70 things, and we're continuing to build onto those. So if there's something that your district needs, please reach out. There's nothing that we love more than helping you guys. Also, I want to remind you to visit blueappleteacher.org. If you use the code webinar20, and if you're at all interested in PBL, I promise you, you will be happy you visited this site. You can save 20% by using the code webinar20. So please check us out there. And again, if you are interested in some professional development options, or at least hearing more, reach out to us, and we'd be happy to get in touch to talk to you and get in touch with you. And finally, thank you again for joining us today. I hope that what you found today was helpful and useful. You will have those handouts available to you, and if you weren't able to access it in the handouts bar, we will send you that link through an email that you'll receive following this webinar. If you post any questions, we'll address those as well in that follow-up email. So again, please reach out. There's my email again. I hope I hear from you, whether it's a question you have or whether it's just sharing with me somebody's day that you brightened. So thank you very much for joining in today. I hope you guys have a fabulous summer and get some rest.